If you come to us obeying, then go back to your house. If you have come to us in coercion, then seek the help of the people. Historians have recorded that she was the general leader, supervising, separating people and issuing commands. Even when Zubair and Talha argued as to who should lead the prayer, and when both wanted to lead, Aisha intervened and removed them both and ordered Abd Allah b. Zubair, her nephew, to lead the people in prayer. She would dispatch messengers with letters which she sent to several regions, requesting their assistance against Ali b. Abi Talib, and urging them with the Jahili zeal the days of ignorance. She even recruited 20,000 or more rabble and greedy Arabs to fight and depose the commander of the faithful. Her urging resulted in zealous discord, where large numbers of people were killed in the name of defending and aiding the mother of the believers. The historians say that when the companions of Aisha came to Uthman b. Hanif, the governor of Basra, they took him along with 70 of his officers who oversaw the public treasury as prisoners. They brought them to Aisha, who ordered that they be put to death. They were slaughtered as sheep are slaughtered. It is even reported there were 400 men in all, and that they were the first Muslims whose heads were cut off whilst they were patient. Al-Shabi reported from Muslim b. Abi Bakr from his father. When Talha and Zubair reached Basra, I put on my sword as I wanted to help them. I visited Aisha, she was ordering, prohibiting, she was in command. I remembered a hadith from the Prophet of Allah which I used to hear him say, "A community which has its affairs administered by a woman will never succeed." I therefore withdrew from them and left them. Al-Bukhari has reported from Abi Bakr, Allah benefited me by a word during the days of the Battle of the Camel. For when the Prophet heard that the Persians had made the daughter of Chosroes their queen, he said, "The people that have their affairs administered by a woman will never succeed." One of the things that makes us laugh and weep at one time is that Aisha went out of her residence in disobedience to Allah and His Prophet and then ordered the companions to remain in their houses. This is surely a strange thing. How, dear Lord, could this occur? The Mutazili ibn Abu al-Hadid, in the commentary on the Naj al-Balagha, reported, along with historians, that Aisha sent a letter when she was in Basra to Zayd b. Safan al-Abi, in which she said to him, "From Aisha, daughter of Abu Bakr, the truthful one, wife of the Prophet to her devoted son, Zayd b. Safan, remain at home and make the people abandon the son of Abu Talib. I hope to hear what I would love from you, since you are the most trustworthy of my family with Salam." This righteous man replied to her thus: "From Zayd b. Safan to Aisha bint Abi Bakr, Allah issued a commandment to you and He also issued a commandment to us. He ordered you to remain in your residence, and He ordered us to fight. Your letter has come to me instructing me to do contrary to what Allah has ordered me to do. You have asked me to do what Allah has ordered you to do and that you do what Allah has asked me to do. Your order to me is something that I cannot obey, therefore there is no reply necessary to your letter." From this, it becomes clear to us that Aisha was not content with leading the army of the camel, but rather, she craved for absolute control over the believers in all the corners of the land. In all matters, she would command Talha and al-Zubair, who had been nominated for the caliphate by Umar. Due to this, she made it lawful for herself to correspond with the chiefs of the tribes and with the governors, enticing them and seeking their help. Due to this, she attained the status and fame among the Banu Umayyads, to the point where she became the source of reverence for all of them, and she became one whose power and rebuke they all feared. If the heroes and men, famous for their courage, abandon and flee from the lines of battle when facing Ali b. Abi Talib, and would not stand in front of him, she stood, inciting, screaming, and arousing the people. The mind is perplexed at all of this, the historians are bewildered, for they knew her stance in the smaller Battle of the Camel before the arrival of Imam Ali, and in the greater Battle of the Camel after the arrival of Imam Ali, They all know that he summoned her to the Book of Allah and that she refused, obstinately insisting on the battle. There is no explanation for this, unless we understand the depth and Extent of the envy and hatred that Aisha felt towards the Prophet's progeny, who were devoted to Allah and His Messenger s. The Prophet sensed the depth and danger of the schemes that revolved around him from all sides. No doubt he knew the influence and discord women could generate on the men, as he also knew that their plot was great enough to almost move mountains. He knew specifically that his wife, Aisha, was the instigator of the dangerous role because of the hatred and rancor that she felt towards his successor, Ali, in particular, and his family in general. How could he not know, when he lived, observing her role and her enmity towards them? He sometimes got angry, sometimes his face would change color and he would try to placate her at all times, informing her that one who loved Ali, loved Allah, and the one who hated Ali, was a hypocrite, whom Allah hated. Unfortunately, those hadiths do not permeate the depth of those souls which never accept the truth to be true, unless it be for her Aisha's benefit, and they do not recognize anything to be correct unless it comes from her. As a result, the Prophet of Allah was patient when he realized that she was the test that Allah had sent to the Ummah, to examine it as he had tested the previous nations. Do the people think that they will be left alone when they say, "We believe," and they will not be tested? 29. 2. The Prophet of Allah warned the Ummah against her on several occasions. He even stood one day and pointed towards her house saying, "From there is the mischief, from there is the mischief, from where the horns of the devil will rise." Al-Bukhari has reported in his Sahih, in the book concerning the houses of the wives of the Prophet, on the authority of Nafi, b. Abd Allah, who said, "The Prophet stood up, addressing the people, and pointed towards the residence of Aisha and said 3 times, 'From there is mischief, from where the horns of the devil will arise.'" Muslim has also related in his Sahih from Ikrimah b. Ammar from Salim from Ibn Umar, who said, "The Prophet of Allah emerged from the house of Aisha and said, 'The pivot of disbelief is from here, where the horns of Satan will rise.'" Al-Bukhari also reported, when Talha, Al-Zubair and Aisha traveled to Basra, Ali sent Ammar b. Yasser and Al-Hasan b. Ali, who met us in Kufa. They ascended the pulpit, with Al-Hasan ascending to the top while Ammar was standing below Al-Hasan. We gathered towards him. I heard Ammar say, "Aisha has journeyed to Basra and, by Allah, she is the wife of your Prophet in this life and in the hereafter. But Allah, the most blessed and exalted, is now testing you to see whom you obey, him or her. Allah is the greatest." This hadith also indicates that obedience to her is disobedience to Allah, and to oppose and disobey her is to obey Allah. We can also note in the hadith, that the Umayyad narrators have added the phrase "in the hereafter" when saying she is the wife of your Prophet in this life and the hereafter, so that they may lead the masses into thinking that Allah has forgiven her every sin she committed, and allowed her to enter his heaven, and her husband is his beloved Prophet of Allah. Otherwise, how did Ammar know that she will be his wife in the hereafter? This is another trick that the falsifiers of hadith narrators resorted to during the time of the Banu Umayyad. When they found that a hadith was widespread amongst the people, and there was no way to deny or refute it, they decided to add a paragraph or words, or to change some phrases to dampen the impact or to make it lose its intended meaning. Just as they did with the hadith, "I am the city of knowledge and Ali is its gate," they added, "and Abu Bakr is its foundation, Umar its walls and Uthman its roof." This trick is not hidden to the objective researchers who refute these additions that, most of the time, indicate the lack of intelligence of the falsifiers and their lack of wisdom and light of the prophetic traditions. For they can observe the saying that Abu Bakr is its foundation means the knowledge of the Prophet is derived from the knowledge of Abu Bakr, and this is disbelief. Likewise, the statement, Umar is its walls means, Umar prevents people from entering the city, i.e. prevents them from getting to the knowledge. The saying, Uthman is its roof is necessarily absurd since there is no city which has a roof. This is impossible. The researchers note too that, Ammar swore by Allah that, Aisha is the wife of the Prophet in this world and in the hereafter. This is a shot in the dark. How could Ammar take an oath about something he did not know? Did he have a verse from the Book of God? Or was it a covenant promised to him by the Prophet S. So, we are now left with the true hadith, i.e. that Aisha traveled to Basra, and that she is the wife of your Prophet, but Allah is testing you through her to know whether you obey him or her. All praise is due to the Lord of the worlds, who has given us intelligence, through which we can differentiate between the truth and falsehood, and has made clear to us the right path and then tested us by several things so that they can bear witness on the day of judgment. 1. Aisha attacks Basra, killing hundreds of Muslims even inside the mosque. Ali's governor in Basra was Uthman ibn Hunayf Ansari, the same companion of the Prophet whom Umar had appointed the financial commissioner of Iraq. When he learned that the army of Aisha, Talha and Zubair was in the environs of Basra, he sent one of the friends of Ali, Abul Aswad ad-Dwali, to see them and to find out the reasons why they came. Abul Aswad called on Aisha, and the following exchange took place between them. Abul Aswad: O mother of believers, what is your purpose in coming to Basra with an army? Aisha: I came to seek vengeance for the murder of Uthman, who was killed in his own house even though he had not committed any sin. Abul Aswad: Whoever killed Uthman is not in Basra. Aisha: Yes, I know. But to get vengeance, I need the cooperation and the support of the people of Basra. Abul Aswad: I hope you have not forgotten that the Messenger of God had ordered you to stay at home. In any case, it is not your business to meddle in politics and war. It is most unworthy of a widow of the Prophet to leave his home, and to fight against the Muslims. Aisha: Will any Muslim dare to fight against me? Aisha believed that if she went into the battlefield at the head of her army, the soldiers of the enemy host, upon seeing her confronting them, would either come over to her side, or would abandon the battle, and desert their master. Abul Aswad next went to see Talha and Zubair and asked them what their intentions were in coming to Basra in battle array. Talha and Zubair: We want vengeance from Ali for the murder of Uthman. Abul Aswad: Ali did not murder Uthman, nor did he have any share in his murder, and you know it. Talha and Zubair: If he did not, then why is he protecting the murderers? Abul Aswad: Does this mean that you have broken the pledge of loyalty which you gave to Ali? Talha and Zubair: The pledge was taken from us on the point of sword. It was, therefore, invalid. Abul Aswad could see that the rebel leaders were obsessed with war, and that further parleys with them were useless. He therefore returned to Basra, and reported to Uthman ibn Hunayf what Aisha, Talha, and Zubair had told him. The rebel leaders had made no secret of their intentions, but Uthman ibn Hunayf did not have a strong army, and knew that he could not defend the city against them. Therefore, when they appeared at the city gates, he opened negotiations with them. The two parties agreed that until the arrival of Ali, the rebels would not do anything to disturb the existing arrangement, and Uthman ibn Hunayf would continue to act as governor of Basra. But hardly 2 days had passed when the rebel leaders violated the truce. Their army attacked the city at night, and took it by storm, and once it was within its walls, it appeared to go berserk. The soldiers spread into the city and killed 600 Muslims, including 40 in the great mosque itself. Talha and Zubair forced their way into the governor's house, where they captured Uthman ibn Hunayf and killed those who tried to defend him. They wanted to kill him also, but he told them that if they killed him, then his brother, Sel ibn Hunayf, who was the governor of Medina, would kill all their relatives living in that city, in reprisal. They, therefore, had to curb their urge to kill the venerable friend of Muhammad. But they beat him up, plucked out all the hair on his head, his eyebrows and his beard, and drove him out of Basra. He managed, somehow, to reach the camp of his master, and staggered into his presence, more dead than alive. Ali was deeply aggrieved to see Uthman ibn Hunayf in the state in which Talha and Zubair had sent him. He could hardly recognize him. He tried to comfort the old friend of Muhammad Mustafa with his tears. The rebel army was now in possession of the city of Basra. It had succeeded in realizing its first aim. Its leaders expelled all friends and supporters of Uthman ibn Hunayf from the city if they did not kill them. Murder of Muslim ibn Abdullah and Talha. Ali, however, still hesitated to fight, and decided to make one more attempt to rescue peace. He sent A young man, one Muslim Ibn Abdullah who was noted for his piety, with a copy of the Quran, to appeal to the enemy to submit the dispute to the judgment of God, and to uphold peace in the name of the sanctity of Muslim blood. Standing in front of the enemy host at close range, Muslim Ibn Abdullah opened the Quran, and said, "I will read a passage from the Book of God so that you will know what are His commandments and prohibitions." His speech, however, was interrupted by the archers of the enemy who shot arrows at the copy of the Quran he was reading. While he was trying to protect the copy of the Quran, one of the servants of Aisha crept up toward him, attacked him and killed him. The body of Muslim Ibn Abdullah was brought before Ali, and was placed on the ground. Ali, awa,